Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. If you are paying attention to XRP and broadly speaking the world of crypto right now, October of 2023, then you must have some very strong conviction and you must have some extreme patience. Because most people that were paying attention to crypto, especially over the last couple of years, they have exited the market. Or even if they technically are in the market in the sense that they hold crypto assets, they're not paying attention. They feel defeated, broken down, maybe they've sold a lot. But there's a lot of resilience here, including within our XRP community. And that's a state of mind where I'm always coming from, because that's what makes sense to me. Regardless of short-term negative price action or even the SEC trying to destroy our financial well-being here in the United States and globally, despite that, I still couldn't be more optimistic big picture. As I take a look at this headline from the Crypto Basic, here is why XRP may go for historic run after breaching 6-year triangle. Now, XRP, I mean, if you've looked over its price action since inception, I'll just say this: it has never been in such a range for such a long period of time. And I know it's artificial; it's because of the SEC, but it can't stay here forever. It's going to go. Which way do you think it's going to go when it finally goes? Consolidation is a real thing, my friends, here. I'll share with you some perspective there. Also, I have some perspective from a very well-known chart analyst having to do with short-term price action for the markets. It's possible he believes in the very short term we could see a little bit of a correction to the downside, nothing major, before continuing our trek to the top. And then there was also this, which I find fascinating. I'll cover this towards the later part of the video, but from the Daily Hodl, the title is Upcoming Bitcoin Halving Unlikely to be Bullish Catalysts, says crypto analyst Nicholas Merton. Here's why. Now, I've never been a big believer in the the Bitcoin halving actually having any notable impact. I mean, in theory, okay, so maybe it did back when block rewards were much more substantial and a bigger percentage of what would have been traded in the markets in the earliest of days. But Bitcoin's been around 14 years roughly now, right? And so when you're talking about having a small amount of new Bitcoin into the market and then cutting in half that small amount, I've always been like, is that really doing anything? And so anyway, Nicholas Merton, he actually put some numbers to this, and I understand there's some people out there that still believe that the Bitcoin halving causes the 4-year market cycles that we've been seeing. So we'll touch on that. But before going further, I do want to be clear: I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this, XRP is at 48 cents. Bitcoin still in the upper 26,000s, 26,870. Crypto Fear and Greed Index 44 out of 100. So market participants still in fear, but I'm not, and hopefully you guys aren't either. But take a look at this. I'm going to share with you a couple posts having to do with the market and directionally what is expected from chart analyst Credible Crypto. One comes from early this morning, and then one comes from this evening, so over 12 hours later. And to this point anyway, we'll see what happens, the market is doing what he's expecting it to do, and he does ultimately think that there's likely to be a move to the upside, and he still has his expectation that Bitcoin's actually going to hit a new all-time high this year. He doesn't think it's too late for that to happen, and so I don't pretend to know if it's going to, whether he's right or he's wrong, but things do happen fast in crypto. I've been around long enough to know that. But anyway, what's on the screen here is just a Bitcoin USD chart, and here's what Credible Crypto had to say. We have a very clear and seemingly controlled stair-step down on price here. Clear low time frame breakdowns, retests, and continuations. We are leaving behind equal lows right below us, so ideally, I'd like to see these cleaned up before a reversal. Considering we have bids stacked above and below us, a push to the local highs into asks followed by a rejection and sweep of our local lows into the waiting bids and local demand seems like the perfect way to form a reversal here. Let's see how things develop. And so again, that was early in the AM, and so then over 12 hours later, what he was expecting ultimately had developed to that exact trend that he was talking about. And so here he says, it's just another Bitcoin USD chart. He said, and there is our pump and rejection. So again, that's what he was calling for in that post I just shared with you. Here is our pump and rejection at the highs like we were looking for. Now let's see if we can get that sweep of the lows into our local demand. And the local lows are represented in that blue box on your screen there. So just call it roughly the lower to mid 26,000s. So he thinks if we ultimately get that, which at the time of recording this we haven't seen yet, but he thinks that there's a good chance we get that, and that would be what you need to bottom out and then continue on to the upside. Then there was also this. There's a post from Bitcoin Magazine account on X, and they simply wrote, Bloomberg analyst Eric Balkunas and James Seifert raise spot Bitcoin ETF approval odds to 90% by January 10th. Okay, so I made my stance known. I've been expecting that BlackRock will be the first ETF to get approved by the SEC. I do think they will ultimately get approved despite delays. And my second guess is if it's not BlackRock that gets approved, then it would be a bunch of the applicants, if not all of the applicants, because there are a number of them, that would get approved all at once. And who knows? There are people that think that's more likely than just BlackRock getting approved, but this is just my for fun guess. It's going to be one of those, I think. Either way, so if it's not my first guess, it's probably going to be my second guess. But the furthest this could get pushed back, as I've noted, is March. That's it. We're already in October, so we're going to know sooner or later. But that doesn't mean that we have to wait till March necessarily, as pointed out by Credible Crypto. He wrote, everyone is stuck on the final deadline in March of 2024. Reality is that that is a deadline, not an approval date, and it likely gets approved much sooner. And that's a quote from what they were citing there. I don't know, and then he says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't have another 6 months to accumulate before some post-halving run-up into 2025. Get positioned before the catalyst that everyone is waiting for, or get left behind. Yeah, so I agree with that sentiment, and I am well positioned. I've been positioned for a long time, though. I mean, to be honest with you, even before the 2021 run-up, I was pretty happy with how I was positioned, to be honest with you. Now, of course, the bulk of what I was expecting to get profits from, XRP, well, never got to see that and never sold because the SEC, as everybody knows. But the good news is, because I jumped into crypto, my net worth is substantially higher than it otherwise would have been had I not, despite the fact that I did make some major purchases even after that bull run, and I talked about those along the way. There are a number of different cryptos I jumped into, and some of those I'm down on, some of them I'm up, some I'm about break even. But that's okay, because to me, after that last bull run 2021, I understand that. It's just, there's going to be sideways price action, downward price action. For me, it's just accumulation. I don't care what happens until we have the next pop, then we'll see where things go. Just like I had that sentiment for years leading up to the 2021 bull run. I literally spent years accumulating XRP, and I was down on it for pretty much 3 years straight. Sometimes slightly above or a little bit of break even, but mostly just down on it. And then it ran. And because that's just how stuff goes. And the same with a bunch of other cryptos that I bought. So anyway, all that to say, I'm just anticipating that, although it's unfortunate that 2021 was what it was for XRP holders because of the SEC, we're still going to get ours. I firmly believe that anyway. And it has allowed me more time to accumulate stuff, so we'll just see when it blasts off, but it's coming. And that's why I agree with the sentiment of this article, even though I don't want to delve into technical analysis and make price predictions myself. I appreciate perspective from people who are so willing to do that. But again, here's the headline from Crypto Basic. Here's why XRP may go for historic run after breaching 6-year triangle. XRP is poised for a historic bull run after a 6-year wedge forms in its chart alongside an extended accumulation phase and regulatory clarity. And so, folks, you're familiar with the phrase the what was it? The greater the base, the higher in space. Some cheesy line like that. The point is, the longer the consolidation, the point is when it pops, it really goes. And then they write, XRP has wallowed in the bearish market for an extended period. Unlike most other digital assets in the market, XRP did not break its previous all-time high at the peak of the last bull market. Yes, and that's right, as I've pointed out many times, and I'm glad the article is recognizing this, because sometimes the Bitcoin maxi trolls will like to frame this as some sort of evidence that XRP, there's something fundamentally wrong with it, or it's just never going to go anywhere, but that isn't logical. It doesn't make any damn sense. XRP is the only top 10 crypto that, when the market run started, it's the only top 10 crypto that didn't hit a new all-time high. And it just happened to be under attack from the SEC. Just coincidence, though, right? Are we to believe that? It's nonsense. And then they write, according to CoinMarketCap data, XRP reached $1.59 in 2021, about half the all-time high of $3.84 in 2018. In other words, XRP has stayed far too long in the bear mud, though experts consider it a bullish factor. So, a couple of things to unpack there. First of all, they wrote that in 2021, XRP at what, $1.59? That was the high in 2021. That is not true. I don't know where they pulled that from, but here's a screen grab I shared on April 13th of 2021 showing, and this is from Live Coin Watch, showing that the XRP price was exactly $2. Now, you are going to get some variance. Of course, I understand that, depending on what source you go to, because they're all going to pull data a little bit differently. So that's why you'll get a slight variance in Bitcoin price or XRP price, any crypto, if you go from, whether it could be CoinMarketCap to Live Coin Watch, just compare the two. They're not going to be the same down to the penny necessarily. But the point is, way higher than $1.59. So I don't know where they got that figure, but it did hit $2. But as far as the other point here, all of the analysts out there stating that, obviously XRP's been down far too long. Well, again, it is the SEC's fault. I firmly believe that. But as far as it being considered a bullish indicator, that's obviously because it's artificially suppressed. But now that it does have legal clarity, and especially as new money comes in, it seems it's abundantly obvious to me that a ton of the money that is flowing into crypto will go into XRP now that there is that legal clarity. It's just obvious, and there is that utility. I can't imagine that not happening. And you're even seeing early indications of this, even though there's not as much money flowing into crypto right now in general. If you look from an institutional level, the money that's flowing into XRP, including after the legal clarity came for XRP, to me that speaks volumes. These are not idiots, not all of them anyway. A lot of these institutions are full of highly intelligent, ethical people just trying to seek out opportunity, trying to put money into stuff that they perceive as undervalued, and they perceive XRP as undervalued, and so they're putting money in it before everybody else. That's the point. If everybody already agreed that it made sense for XRP to be $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, whatever it goes to, well, then it's too late. I need to be in it before that, and I sure as hell am right now. And however long it takes, I'm here for it. Sometimes it feels a little bit annoying recognizing that I would have had my XRP life-changing wealth a couple years ago, but not for the SEC. And out of the over 20,000 coins, the one that I put that money into, that's the one that got heavily attacked. It's the only large cap that got attacked. It just happens to be the one. I'm like, God, damn it, universe. I'm only joking, though, of course. I mean, a little bit. Not about the asshat pricks at the SEC. I do not mince words when it comes to them. But in terms of me actually feeling upset, I mean, sometimes, I look, I'm like, God, it's ridiculous, but I'm an adult about it. We still go and get ours. They can't stop this all. Yes, they slowed down, in terms of the amount of money flowing in to XRP for over 2.5 years, but that problem's going to fix itself. So take a look at this. They have this little subheading, XRP 68-month accumulation. That's right, folks. Almost 6 years since we've seen an all-time high for XRP. Given XRP's prolonged stay under $1, top market analysts have argued the digital asset is getting set for a historic recovery. The analysts projecting XRP's historic bull market often cited the 6 years since its last all-time high. They characterized the period as an accumulation phase where investors stockpile the tokens in anticipation of the bulls. Right, and so if there is a silver lining for this, beyond just us having legal clarity, it's that those people who happen to come, there's some, and it's still, obviously screwed more than it helped, but there are some people that have had an opportunity to accumulate more XRP than they ever thought they'd possibly have because of the artificial price suppression because of the SEC. So that doesn't justify the negative stuff they did, and it's not fair, and it's not balanced, or anything like that. But at least for those who were in the space or jumped in the space around that time, if they just recognized the opportunity, at least for some people it did represent an opportunity, even if on the whole it was absolutely horrible and disastrous. And then down here, this is perspective from an analyst that I'm not familiar with, but I'll just share it because the sentiment I agree with. I can't speak to the TA, but the sentiment I agree with. Reads as follows. Also in a tweet, Cameron Scrubs, the founder of Tradeship University, shared a chart capturing XRP's market since its inception. The chart pattern depicts that the XRP market has formed a long-standing triangle, a known indicator for bullish price movements. Scrubs emphasized the significance of the development in XRP's chart, noting that it's a massive wedge that has been forming for years. He expressed his unwavering confidence in XRP, stating, quote, "There is no world where XRP doesn't go on a historic run after this. I've never been so bullish on this coin," end quote. And so that last part I sure as hell agree with. I think it's going to be historic. I think XRP will melt faces. We just have to wait. It's just we're at this time where most people aren't paying attention to crypto, so kudos to you for being here. And I still think we're going to get ours. But it's not going to be because of the Bitcoin halving, right? Can we just be real about this? I just do not buy into this narrative. And look, and I'll say this at the outset too, because I want to make sure I don't forget this. People bring up, well, okay, if it's not the Bitcoin halving, then how come it's every 4 years? Well, without getting too technical about this, there have been analysts that have talked about this, including my fellow XRP YouTuber, the Blockchain Backer, who has pointed out not only do things not perfectly sync up if you're looking to engage in such an analysis, but there are other factors that contribute to that. Just like natural cycles, and then as far as the Bitcoin halving, it just happens to be somewhat close, to these other things that are actually causing it. But again, if you just use your brain and think about how almost all Bitcoin has already been mined, over 19 of the 21 million Bitcoins have already been mined. If you understand that, and then you talk about a small amount getting mined per block, and then if you cut in half an amount that's already small and already barely impacts the market, it doesn't matter. It's not like there's an increase in overall Bitcoin supply right now of 50% per year, and that's getting in half. That is not what's happening. That is not even close to what's happening. Just like XRP getting put into what is considered to be circulation by Ripple. Well, I mean, you can even look at their volume. It's far less than 1% of global volume in any given quarter. How much are they actually putting out? Well, you haven't seen much. I mean, if you look from, what was in 2017 when I jumped in? What was the circulating supply of Bitcoin? Maybe or XRP rather, 36, 37 billion. It was somewhere around there, I believe. And so now it's a little over 50 billion. So you can do the math to figure out what the percentage increase has been over the last 6 years. It's not some crazy jump, but the concept is similar to Bitcoin. That what I'm getting at here is it's a small percentage, and I'm seeing somebody articulate that with specific numbers here. So you guys tell me what you think. I don't buy into this concept, but let me share with you the data here, and you tell me if you find this as compelling as I do. Crypto analyst Nicholas Merton believes Bitcoin's next halving will not ignite the renewed bull market that many traders and analysts expect. In a new video update, Merton tells his 512,000 YouTube subscribers that unlike many other analysts, he does not believe the Bitcoin halving event in 2024 will spark a huge rally as past ones did because its impact on new supply will not be enough of a catalyst. Bitcoin halvings occur every 4 years, cutting Bitcoin mining rewards in half, Bitcoin, and therefore reducing the amount of new supply entering the market. The next one is expected on April 15th, and here's a quote from Merton. "There's a big misconception here that halving reduction, while it is technically declining the inflation rate in half, the problem is that inflation rate reduction in normal terms, in real actual impact of terms, is getting weaker and weaker and weaker over time. And this also explains why Bitcoin has had diminishing returns over time. It doesn't expand as rapidly as it has in the past," end quote. Okay, that is spot on. And the good news is we don't need it to in order to have greater returns. Eventually there will be a world where all Bitcoin is mined, and that doesn't mean that price can't go up. That is not what that will mean. Now, of course, by that happens, you're talking 100 years out. So, I don't assume that Bitcoin's going to be, if it's around and it's actually still hoarded, I don't believe that it's going to be anywhere near as volatile by such a point in time. But he's right here. The impact of having weaker and weaker and weaker over time, and also the multiplier effect in terms of price action for Bitcoin, less and less and less over time, which is why it makes sense to be in altcoins. That's where the real life-changing wealth is to be had, in my opinion. And I hold Bitcoin just for the sake of diversity, but I'm not exactly excited about it. I'm not counting on that for anything that's going to be life-changing. Anyway, Peace continues. The next halving will produce miner rewards from, reduce miner rewards from about 6.25 Bitcoin per block to 3.125 Bitcoin per block. Merton says that since the value of the reduction is relatively small compared to Bitcoin's total market cap, he doubts it could spark a major rally. And here's his quote with some actual numbers. That is going to mean 164,250 less Bitcoin minted every year, or $4.4 billion at current market rates of Bitcoin hitting the spot market, potentially for miners selling it in order to cover their operational expenses for electricity for the computer hardware. If we take it to a daily time frame, that's 450 Bitcoin less per day, or essentially at current market rates, $12 million less of potential sell-side pressure. May sound like a lot here, something that even could kick off a new bull market. But while these numbers might sound very big, when we consider them against the valuation and the size of Bitcoin as a market, it starts to not look so optimistic. Just consider Bitcoin's market cap here and take a look at the current valuation of it as an asset, rather than the entire crypto market. Bitcoin right now is sitting at a $523 billion market cap, nearly more than half $1 trillion in market capitalization. So if we take that $4.4 billion figure, which sounds like a lot, we really start to realize that it's not even a percentage of Bitcoin, end quote. Yep, he's spot on there. It doesn't matter. This is not going to kick off a bull run. It's amazing to me that some of the Bitcoin crew, they're still sticking with this narrative. Some of the maxis out there, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. There are other really and honestly, if for anybody out there that still believes that it is, at this point, now that you have this information, it's like maybe you go out and figure out, well, I must be missing a piece of the puzzle, to which I would say yes. So be curious enough to find out what that is. But it's, I think of the theories out there from others that I talked about earlier, like, for instance, the blockchain backer, what he had to say about it. To me, I find that compelling. That seems to make more sense. You don't have to have a halving of Bitcoin to kick off market rallies. It's a narrative. Like so many things in crypto, it's just a narrative. So it's not a bad thing. It's just reality. It doesn't matter. Markets will come back when they come back, and crypto moves in tandem with equities, in particular for the bigger moves. That's it. There you go. This is not bad. This is fantastic. So it's an inevitability. More money will flow in. People will continue to get more optimistic over time. Even if we go down a little bit first and we have some more fear first, so what? It's just the way of things. Because for you to believe that we're not going to see better futures, you understand what you'd have to believe. If we're not going to see new all-time highs, you would have to believe that this stuff just goes to zero. Does anybody believe crypto ceases to exist at this point? Almost nobody. It could not be more clear that people value this. It creates new opportunity, new business models that couldn't otherwise exist. It couldn't be more clear. So it doesn't make sense to have this negative attitude that many people have, and so many people in fear right now. Why? Fearful for the short term, but why have fear for the short term even? It's more like price go down. Why do you have to have fear even if the price goes down in the short term? Why does that make fear? I mean, I understand why, but my argument is it shouldn't. Because if you think fear is logical in that instance, then you better believe, if you're going to be logically consistent, that this stuff never recovers. You better believe that, or else what the hell is the point of the short-term fear? It doesn't make sense. Of course markets recover. And it doesn't mean that every single coin recovers. It doesn't mean there's no risk and something can come out of left field and so on and so on. I get all that. But crypto's not going away. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And XRP having been suppressed for so long, yeah. Is there going to be a historic run for it? Yes. That's what I believe anyway. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and it goes to zero, fine. But I don't believe that. It's going to come. I don't pretend to know when. But I don't have to. I'm not a wizard. I'm just a dude, and I believe I've made the right bet. Like pretty much all of you listening. I'm in the same boat. There's nothing special about me. I'm just another guy out there. But I firmly believe I could not have stronger conviction. And especially the way things have just gone, legal clarity, further developer activity, more money flowing into crypto, about to get a Bitcoin spot ETF, which will benefit every coin in the world of crypto. Yes. It's just, there's never been an opportunity like this in the history of our species. I just can't get the defeatist and sad attitudes from some people, man. It's amazing to be here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.